Right, we're going to do a quick walkthrough of a listing presentation. This is a listing presentation that I've used in the past, and we're going to go through some of the components it's going to have. I'm not going to actually give the listing presentation until the end of the module. I just want you guys to see the different components, the different kinds of branding, the information, the marketing. A lot of you will be able to get one of our templates. Well, all of you will be able to get a template, but we have templates already pre-made for Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Remax. This is the actual Remax one. Berkshire Hathaway. And so we have a few already made for the big guys. And then we'll have a blank one that you guys will be able to use if you're not with a major real estate company that you'll still be able to utilize. So I'm going to go through this real quick. Don't worry about keeping up. I'm just going to kind of say what each slide is, kind of give you an idea of what we're going to give our potential clients in a listing presentation that's going to help us win these listings. So as you see at the top here, I always have the actual name of the clients I'm giving it for to make it specific to them, and a few pictures of houses that I've sold or listed in the past. So the first slide is about Remax as a company. So I have a few facts there. The second one is about my specific brokerage. So what my brokerage has done, because if you're new to the business or haven't had that many listings, you're going to want to leverage your company name and your brokerage statistics or your company statistics to kind of build yourself up. So it goes company, brokerage, and then why hire me? So these are things that I like to say. These are things that clients care about. So I like to take it from the top down all the way down to the bottom level. Now, this is the Remax one. So basically this has, Remax branding, has the balloon, has the most recognizable real estate. So again, I'm just confirming that you're doing business with not just me, but a brand and a brokerage and, things of that nature. So another one is some actual statistics. So these are the Remax statistics stacked up to some of the other competitors. If you belong to one of a competitor of Remax, you guys go to your own websites. You guys have your own facts and figures and customer service scores and all these things. This would go here to kind of prove out, why they're going to do business with you and why they want to. Again, this just reaffirms that, a statistic that Remax has and just shows that they're a leader in what they do. This one has to do with advertising. Again, this is just reinforcing the client's trust in the brand and person they're doing business with. So this house was actually for a semi-luxury house. Usually I do $700,000 and above. This one's actually, I think, $450,000. That we're using for an example. But I like to say something specific about the home. So if you have a luxury home, this is a good thing to say. These are good sources. So this is from the Wealth Report of 2012. And it talks about where the luxury buyers come from. And it just makes you look a lot more intelligent than saying, here's a list of the houses I sold and I can sell yours. It shows the client you have an understanding of the actual market. Again, this is another Remax, a Remax visual, but a lot of these companies are going to have multiple offices in multiple countries. So you put that graphic here to show that, since I just mentioned that a lot of them come from overseas to buy luxury property, these are all the areas that we represent, so to reinforce that thought. So now that we did kind of a global, we're going to tie it back into their neighborhood. So basically, this type of data just comes from your MLS or RBI MLS, and it just gives them statistics like, monthly sales, is it up or down month over month, year over year, new inventory, months of supply of inventory, and the average days on market. So what we're doing here is we're kind of setting the table for what they can expect, what's going on around them, and again, you being a total professional and knowing down to a percentage point what's going on around them. So the next thing we're going to do is, now that we've talked about globally, we're talking about locally, now we're talking about fair market value. This slide and the next two slides are going to talk about what you can expect when you price a property correctly or incorrectly and what they can expect on that. So we talk about fair market value, we talk about location, condition, buyer demand, all those things you see here: price, terms, condition, marketing, and value. Now we talk about the window of opportunity to actually sell a house once we get it toward the fair market value. So our window of opportunity, highest in the third week when they know it's on the market, starts declining, and then about the seventh week kind of bottoms out. So you're telling them that you want to make sure we price it right. And all we're doing here is conditioning them and telling them and showing them that we know how to move property, we know why it moves, and what they can expect in the sales process. Here's a pricing figure. So again, we talked about market value, we talked about time on market, and now we're talking about a pricing model here. Again, we're just conditioning the potential client to bring them back to the realm of reality so we can sell their house, not just list it. And you can even use that in your presentation. You know, I'm in the business of selling homes, not listing them. And this kind of shows that, you know, overpricing and market value. So now we get to the actual marketing of their home. So we've already informed them who we are, who our company is, who our brokerage is, what their home is possibly, how their home is going to be judged in the market, how long it should stay on the market and get the most attention. We've given them community statistics, we've given them global statistics. Now we get down to the nitty-gritty of marketing the home. So we're going to talk about the regular stuff here: yard signs, open houses, property brochures, broker tours. So this is kind of I call it the branding essentials. Like, you're going to get this from pretty much every realtor. And then we talk about exposure with this real estate brand, which in this case is RE/MAX. So RE/MAX has some good infographics on how many visits RE/MAX.com gets compared to everybody else. Like I said, your specific companies and have your specific statistics, and this is where you plug these in here. And this is the exposure, the marketing or the exposure their homes are going to get. So RE/MAX has some good infographics online of like all these different icons of, you know, tablet, phone, mobile site, website, and all these things people are going to be able to find their home on. Again, we're just pumping up the exposure of the home. And then we talk about, in this slide, we want to, this is a very powerful one, because you show all the places people are going to be able to find their home. So a lot of people don't really, some people don't even know about, you know, Zillow or Trulia, to be honest. I mean, they're very common, but, you know, you have an older crowd, luxury homes, they don't even know these places exist, and they have millions and millions of visitors per day. So you need to make sure you inform them of how that works when exposing their home. So now we went through kind of the boilerplate. You know, we're going to be online, we're going to be, you know, on my company's website, you're going to have a yard sign. So that's kind of the boilerplate stuff that everybody's going to give. This is the part where we turn it on the actual specific marketing you're going to give them that no one else probably is, or very few will. So I kicked that off with professional photography. We actually talk about where to find those later on in the module. Go to LinkedIn. This is a short answer. Go to LinkedIn. Find professional photography or Google real estate photography in the city and state that you're in. The easiest way to find them. You should only be paying $100 to $150 per home to get good pictures taken. That's 50, 60 pictures professionally. But I always give clients professional photography. For instance, I just listed a home, it was probably a year ago. It was a $500,000 property, and they'd taken pictures with an iPhone. And the house looked horrible in the MLS, and so I was like, it was expired and canceled that I went and called on. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be a tough sell. I walk in the house is beautiful. You know, the pictures were just horrible. And I mean, the house, had an offer and sold inside of 3 weeks. You know, I mean, it was unbelievable. But, you know, you have to explain the power of photography to these clients. So in your listing presentation, you say that you offer it, and you also give them a statistic that says, because this is true, 92% of people start their search for a home online, and how do they see it? Pictures. So professional photography is not just a feature, it's a must if you want to sell your home. So that's one of the standout perks, the separation perks we give. Professional staging. Again, LinkedIn is the best possible place to find interior designers. But find an interior designer, preferably an independent one. That way, if they work for a company, it's kind of hard for them to get out and kind of do this unless it's only on the weekends. I found an interior designer that works for that's featured in House, which is obviously very prominent. And basically, she gives it for $150. She goes through, sits with the clients, and tells them how to position the items that are already in their home to, you know, make it look better for buyers or potential buyers right now. You know, so it also makes you look like the good guy and them the bad guy. You're not telling them to declutter their house, somebody else is, but no one else offers staging. So offer that. Again, go to LinkedIn, start paying people on there, and trying to pull one of those in. So text marketing. So we'll go through a little bit about text marketing in another module. We'll get in a little bit deeper on it. But you know, text marketing on the sign. There's a lot of companies that have it pre-packaged. I don't. I basically have a separate company that I use for text marketing, and I do my own stuff because 1, it's cheaper, and 2, it's more effective, and they follow up like 3 times. It's great. But text marketing is something that maybe only 2 to 5% of realtors even use, and a lot of the systems they use are very complicated. So again, above and beyond what everybody else does. Again, if you're one of the 5 realtors that are getting interviewed, this is going to put you on top of the list as well. So now we've talked about what we're going to do. We've done the boilerplate. We've done the above and beyond features of our marketing. And now this is where we get really honest and start to build that rapport and start creating the realm of reality with our potential clients. So now we start bringing them in and we talk about presenting their home, their first impressions, how we decorate for a quick sale, making sure light comes in through the windows, they have screens, take them off, fix any handyman stuff. And then we talk about making repairs, value from top to bottom, safety first, make closets look bigger. What we're trying to do is trying to give them tips and value of what they can do to help themselves, and you, help themselves though, sell their home. So we're kind of putting some of the onus back on them to where, this is what I'm going to offer. I mean, I'm going to give you all this value and I'm going to ask a few things from you because we're in this together and to move the home. And what that does is kind of builds a give to get, a kind of a what's it called? A reciprocity. It's like you give them something, now they give you something. So I'm going to give you all this value. I need you to help me out when selling your home. And that further develops a relationship subconsciously of this is the guy we're going to be using. Or girl. So now we're getting to the end of it. And now we talk about fair market value. I always put what I think we can get for the house or what the market thinks we can get for the house at the very end because I want them to hear me of what I'm trying to say about my brand, how we're going to go to market, what I need them to do to go to market, and then we talk about price. If I talk about price first, that's all they're going to think about. If I said this is what I think we can get, we're going to talk and argue or discuss that for the rest of the time instead of going through the entire listing presentation. So I put this at the end, and what I do here is I pull comps from Zillow, Redfin, Trulia has comps too. And basically for this home, they had it listed for $479 when it was expired, but all the comps said $431, Zillow said $415, Redfin said $430. So we went in and listed. It was actually in really good condition. We listed it for $445. We ended up selling for I think $432. So it actually went exactly where the consumer site said. But the reason why I bring these in to back me up is because every consumer is going to go to Zillow, Trulia, or any of these sites to find out, see the pictures, one, and they look at these estimates on the house, and that's their idea of what they should pay. So when I bring in comps and everything else, I tell them, it's not the end-all, be-all. Zillow and Trulia might not be that accurate, but everybody else looks at them like they are, so we need to consider those when pricing the home. Now, one thing I don't do here is what I'm going to price it for until they pick me as their listing agent. The reason why is I'm not going to give somebody an entire marketing strategy and a pricing strategy if they're not going to use me. What I say when we get here is, if you guys choose to use me, we'll talk about what price we're going to end up landing on. I think it needs to be between X and Y to get the best marketing for the home, but I don't land on a specific number because I'm not trying to get judged on that between other realtors. I want them to judge me on the value I'm going to bring with all the marketing, the brand, and everything else, and then we'll discuss the price later after they make their decision on me being head and shoulders above my competition. We can talk about price later. So I want them to make their decision on that, not the price point, until I know for sure that they're going to be a client of mine. So now this is where we ask for the business. So I thank them, got a picture, got my name, got all the stuff on here. Now, I don't leave this presentation with them. This is on an iPad. And to be honest with you, if you print it out and take it there, it's not the worst thing in the world. It'd look more professional on an iPad. If you do put it on papers in a book, make sure you take it with you. Don't leave any of your marketing strategy behind for another realtor to say, yeah, I can do that for you. Take it all with you. You should have explained your value by now. You should have basically, given them everything they need to make their decision if they want to be with you or not. But basically, this is the last page. It has your face, and this is where you ask for the business. It's if I can deliver on all these things here, and we can land on the right price that you want or need to get for your home, can I be your listing agent? Would you let me sell your house for you? And they said, well, yeah, that's fine. Then we send the paperwork over. They say, oh, we have other people to interview. You do it just like any other job. When is a good time for me to follow up with you to find out about your decision? Well, maybe we're going to make our decision Thursday. Can I follow up with you Thursday night? I mean, you're very aggressive and you're asking for the business here. So again, this is the flow. So you introduce yourself, your company, your brokerage, and then you build value around some data points of the market. and then basically you bring it down into the market, or the marketing, and not the average sales price, but the value of the home, the market value, and then you bring it down into, you know, what they need to do to sell their home, no matter who they choose. And then, you know, your big points of differentiation. And then we wrap it all up with, you know, what the market looks like as far as the retail sites and what the comps say. And you leave that not vague, but vague. And then basically at the end, you ask for the business. But you always, you know, thank them for their time. They're going to have a lot of questions during this. I just want to use this to show you the flow. At the end of this module, I actually go through it as if you were a client and go through it slide by slide of how I would actually deliver this to a prospective client. But thanks, and we'll get back to the video.